Alrighty everybody, welcome back to another crochet vlog for Lost in Time, and I think this is either going to be the final one or part one of a two-part finale. Just depending on how long it takes me to get through the rest of this. We're at page 193 of 208. If you are new here, welcome. Hi, this is a series where I am doing my self-imposed therapy of sharing my writing work. This is my very first book that I have ever written, Lost in Time. I really recommend starting at the very beginning, but hey, whatever. What do you? If you like to read it for yourself, like without me narrating it, then there's a link in the description to Wattpad. The entire thing's there. Yeah, and I also crochet. And we're crocheting more squares because that is my life. More squares. Anyway, buckle in. I think I can get through all of this in maybe an hour. If it goes longer than an hour, then I'm gonna stop. There might just be get through chapter 26 and then we'll have an epilogue and the review, and I might just do that. I don't know actually. But yeah, so previously on chapter 25, A Forgotten Conversation, which I just finished reading, basically, Eli saved Raid. Raid asked her to be there for Dimitri, no matter what. Yeah, there was that. Slightly confusing, but okay, sure. Then a very nice, lovely little rift, sent her to her pop's condo, and she got to recuperate there. Got to have some nice, comforting grandpa time. He told her he'd been gone for a bit because he went to go retire from the Foxtrot department. He punched the person who did not tell him his son was dead, and that his granddaughter had been sent to her mother's. He hates Eli's mom, if that is not clear. Yeah, so he landed him in the hospital, got in trouble for that, and then he also pulled strings to get Eileen, who is essentially like her godmother, slash Auntie Eileen, just a really, really good family friend, like the sister and aunt she never had type of a thing. Pulled strings to where she got to come home and be at the DOD office for a while. So basically Eli has her family back. Now Eli went back to the dorm after he went off to work the next day, and she overheard a conversation between Madeline and Vivian, after doing a little bit of reflection on what she still has to fix. Like, there's the Samantha thing, there's the demons thing, like, then there's this thing with Raid, and it's like, what's going on? She's not sure what's happening, but the conversation between Madeline and Vivian is that Dimitri's room has been cleared out. It's like he left. And Eli goes and checks. She's never been in his room before, but obviously Madeline has. Yeah, she's right. It's all empty. Everything's gone. What the heck? She has a really, really, really bad feeling about this. Thinking on what Raid said. But, like, what's she supposed to do? She can't keep fixing everything, yet this is something she feels like she needs to find out. Then there's, of course, the whole thing with, like, the Dracula contract thing. She still has no idea what the hell that's about. Or even if that's supposed to be something she's supposed to fix, something she's supposed to find out. And then she goes to try and text Dimitri, but her phone died because of too much salt water from 2 chapters ago. So she can't even communicate with him now. So that's fun. But that is essentially where we are at. Okay, so now some time has passed. Okay. How much time? Like maybe a week or so, I think. But anyway. And I just want to say thank you so much for those of you who have been following this since the very beginning. Lori, a massive shout out to you, because if it wasn't for you, I probably would have stopped. You have inspired me, helped me, loved me from afar, and honestly, it has been a tremendous support in my life, and I don't know how I'm going to ever repay you for that, but a lot of my confidence, which is still somewhat shaky on a lot of things, but you have helped me along so much with that. So thank you so very much for being a constant support. And for those of you who have tuned in once, twice, the entire time, just thank you so much. I love and adore each and every one of you, and I don't know how to really properly say thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. But alright, so let's dive in. So, chapter 26. Happy New Year's! Is it though? Is it? I had the same dream I had been having every single night since Dim left. It never changed. I appeared on the doorstep of the same darkly lit mansion, the same one from the trials all so long ago. I walked down the same hallway, entering the study where I fought the twins, but it's almost dark. The only light is a smartphone that hasn't been turned off, sitting on a table, but it doesn't provide near enough light to show the two people in the room. I walk silently inside the study and watch as Narcus picks his phone up and turns off the screen, bathing the room in complete darkness. Doors close behind me, the magic of the house doing its work. How is he? Narcus always asks, extremely polite. I had never seen him this way before, almost like he was afraid. The unknown stranger speaks, his accent heavy, but I can never place it. The infusions seem to be doing well. He may yet survive and move on to the transformation. But first, the bond must be made. Narcus nods, speaking once more, but the room spins and I fall into another dream, or a memory, and it's the only time I see Dim. I approach him now, pain squeezing my heart at his tormented face as he kneels on the dark, swirling floor. Oh my god, my nose. Why? Ah! I can never see anything clearly. Dark magic and a deep fog keeping me from discerning anything of his surroundings. Nothing that I can use to find him. The only thing clear here is Dim, wearing his usual attire of a black t-shirt and dark jeans, muscles taut with pain, his fists clenched like stone. I can never do anything. I'm just forced to stay here, screaming, shaking, waving, anything to see if this time will be anything different. No, it's not. I wonder why I even try anymore. The dream repeats itself over and over, and it's slowly driving me insane. Slowly? Okay, that's fun. I woke up covered in sweat. Or woke up? Or I wake up. Probably wake up. I wake up covered in sweat with my heart beating rapidly. I run my hand through my bed hair as my other hand shuts up my alarm. I have to use one now, otherwise the dreams will keep me trapped until someone wakes me, and that's usually Clover or Blake. Ever since Dim left, they had found excuses and reasons to hang out with me, following me to school, abandoning their studies to help me with mine. Every time I ask about Dim, they refused to answer. They knew something but wouldn't tell me. Now I just accepted it. But when finals week came around, I forced them to focus on their studies, and amazingly we all passed with A's except for Dim. He wasn't here. How could he attend his finals? They clearly weren't important to him if he wasn't here. Every day I checked my phone, only to crumble a little more. Nothing. No emails, no letters, no texts or calls. Nothing. For the first week or two, I tried not to hover, to obsess over it, but I forced myself to face my feelings. Even though we hadn't even kissed yet, there was something there. A crush. I had a crush on him. If I was being fanciful, I would like to think he has one on me too. Or had. Otherwise, wouldn't he have called? I ignored the voice and rolled out of bed, checking my phone once again. Again, nothing. Today was the last day of the year. Tomorrow it would be January of 2016. You would think he would send a text or something. I sighed, heading to the shower. I knew I was being petty. I had no idea what was going on, and that's what was bugging me, mostly. Even with me obsessing over Dim's unexpected departure, December had passed me by in a blur. So much to do, so little time to do it. Work was a little more chaos than usual, and that meant more paperwork, headaches, and Advil. As the holidays approached, the families were over more, and the tension from them almost choking me to death hadn't gone away. Not by a long shot. I'd never have been more thankful to be busy and away from the dorm and my own mind. I still had too many problems to fix. Samantha. She was around a lot now, often wanting to play, or more disturbingly, follow her big sister and brother around. The best I had done to repair Vivian's and Charlotte's friendship, was to get them to stonily ignore each other on opposite sides of the room, and only when there was a large crowd between them. In other words, nowhere. Neither would talk to me, not for lack of trying, but all I got was cursed at. I did a discreet search into the demons who had appeared Halloween night, only to get nowhere. No one was claiming them, so whoever their master was, he was being careful. It was only a matter of time before they came after me, though, and I only hoped they would leave the coven and my family out of it when the time finally came. Dracula had been mysteriously silent since that night, and when I tried to track him down, thinking he might know something about Dim, I got nowhere. That was sincerely disappointing, because a large part of me was hoping that I could bargain for my father's necklace. I didn't regret my decision, not at all. Just wished I could have had both. I had been racking my brains trying to figure out that contract memory, but without Dracula, I was getting nowhere. A heck of a lot of thinking and work for not much reward. It was lunch when I came out of my room, having spent the morning tending to the overwhelming mice farm, searching my egg once again for non-existent cracks, reading, just hiding. I could hear them all in the kitchen, but now I was hungry, so I braved the group. I hadn't spoken to Caroline since that night, even when she had tried multiple times to apologize. I never listened. Disappointed didn't even begin to describe how I was feeling towards her right now, or even angry. Truth be told, I didn't know what I was feeling. I found some leftover vegetable sushi in the fridge. Grabbing the containers, I heard the front door open. "Hey everyone, what's for lunch?" Raid's cheerful voice resounded through the dorm. Her beautiful melody had me freezing, half bent over in the fridge. Raid and Narcus had disappeared when Dim had, so had they. "Dude, welcome back!" the twins cried. "Dim, you're back! Hi! Where did you go? Any awesome stories to tell?" "You look slightly different. Are you taller?" Mind slack in shock at the sound of Madeline trying to flirt, I stood up stiffly, shutting the fridge door shut after grabbing a bottle of water and turned to look for myself. Molten hot anger covered my heart, then froze over. There he was, Dimitri, in all his glory. Madeline was right. He was taller, but everything about him seemed more pronounced. He looked better in real life than he did in my dreams, and he was looking straight at me. As angry as I was this close to running over and hugging him or something. But Caroline just had to speak. Caroline, sorry. "What's that traffic? Y'all said you would be here this morning." This morning. He was coming back this morning. She knew this entire time? Judging by the looks on everyone else's faces, they wanted to know what took them so long. Samuel clapped Dim on the back, excitedly. Okay. "Yeah, bro, you said you'd show me that killer pitch you have." So they knew. All of them knew. Clover and Blake had deep, guilty looks on their faces, and with that, I was done. Not caring anymore, I ran to my room, fuming and in near tears, which made me feel even stupider. So he didn't even care to let me know? At all? Leah, wait! I slammed the door in his face, locking it for good measure before stuffing my lunch into my backpack, grabbing my keys and wallet before hoisting the back on my shoulders. The window was as good as any to get out of a bad situation, so I climbed down the 4 stories before running away again. I didn't stop until I reached the cafe. I really needed a frappuccino and a cookie. I sat down with my food, still feeling awful, almost depressed. But I had never been depressed, so I didn't really know what that felt like. I'd always thought depression was just a lazy man's excuse for not doing anything, but now I could kind of see where they were coming from. A dark feeling dragging you further and further into its abyss, weighing you down. I hated it. Staring at the untouched cookie, I felt the anger start to swirl, and I let it. Why was I so depressed over a guy? I never had been in love or anything like it, and I would continue not to be. I didn't need a guy. I didn't really need anything but my family. I had that. So why was I hurting now? Because you like him, and he doesn't like you back. What a weak inner voice. True, but weak. Or maybe I was the weak one for not admitting it. Didn't they say that admitting it to yourself lets you move on, or something like that? Or maybe that was with a breakup. Was that what Dem and I were going through? But how could we go through one if we weren't even a couple? We hadn't even kissed, I thought blankly. So therefore I shouldn't be feeling anything. Groaning, my head fell into my hands, and I stared at the lines in the wooden table. I was overthinking nothing. He left. He didn't tell me. He's back. He didn't tell me. Sighing, I admitted it. We weren't anything. He doesn't have to tell me anything, and I don't have to say anything to him either. We aren't anything. He left before we could be anything. So that meant I could skip the annual New Year's party and honestly say it wasn't about Dimitri. He wasn't Dem. He was Dimitri. I wasn't going to avoid him. I just have things to do. Okay, can I just say, damn, like, I love that. I love the beginning of this so far. Holy crap. Oh my god, my nose is itching. Eli! Someone yelled my name and banged on the glass, startling me. I turned slightly in my booth, eyes widening as I saw Victor with his father, Trevor. Then Victor was gone, and Trevor was so interested in his phone that he didn't notice. Stellar parenting. What are you eating? Oh, a cookie, I want some. He wiggled his overly energetic body into the booth and sat right by me. Wryly grinning, I pushed the whole cookie over. You can have it, buddy. I looked over my shoulder through the window again. Trevor was still standing in the middle of the sidewalk, engrossed in his phone, his business suit sharply ironed, with not a wrinkle to be seen. He still hadn't noticed his son had run off. I turned back to see Victor getting crumbs all over his face. So, what is up with you and your dad walking around campus? The little bright shining light in his eyes dimmed a little. I'm going to scream. My nose is horrible. We were supposed to throw around the ball today, but Dad said he had to go back to work and instead would take a walk with me. Wonderful parenting. Ignoring your own kid. Look how well that worked out for Sammy. I ignored the burning itch in my palms to go out there and wake Trevor up. Maybe even slap him silly, and instead handed Victor a napkin. So, do we think this is the beginning of Eli's villain arc? Damn. I didn't know you actually liked baseball. All I ever see you do outside is find creepy crawlies to discuss Madeline with. Victor snickered, holding his belly. Oh, that was fun. But I like baseball, I really do. Mom said she'd get me on a team, but she forgot. Again, that little glint of sadness and another burning desire to kill something. I didn't really know what to say, so I turned around just in time to see Trevor surface from his phone and realize his son was missing. Idiot! Sighing, I knocked on the glass, and Victor giggled when his dad jumped, looking around wildly. Then he sighed in relief when he noticed us and headed inside the cafe. "Oh, good, Elena, you're here." "I've lived in your house for 2 years, and the first time you use my name in my presence, you get it wrong?" "An emergency has come up at work, and I was wondering if you could take Victor back to his dorm?" Without even checking to see if I would, he walked out. Already dialing someone, leaving his child in the care of a girl he knows almost nothing about. Wonderful parenting. Taking a sip of my frappuccino at last, I looked at Victor. "Oh, I'll do better than that. Got that baseball?" We left the cafe, my frap in my hands and Victor's frap in his. He wanted one before we left, so I got him one. During the walk to the big patch of green grass not too far away, he took my free hand, which surprised me. But it felt kind of nice, in a loving sibling way. "Might want to slow down there, buddy. You're going to get a brain freeze, and then you'll never be able to catch the ball." It was really funny to watch Victor draining his drink as I put my bag and drink in the grass. He had a little backpack, too. It lit up with Iron Man. I love this kid. Inside of it was 2 baseball mitts and a few baseballs, all of which looked brand new. Victor ignored me as he sighed in happy contentment, patting his tummy as I pulled out the mitts and a few balls. The amount of time it took for his head to hurt was walking to the other side of the field, mitt in hand. When he cried out in complaint, all I did was chuckle a bit. Dad had done the same thing with me ages ago. "High or low?" I called out, ball in hand. He was doing that little kid bouncing thing, looking super excited. "Hi!" It went on like that for a while, only an hour or 2. I had never seen Victor so happy or shocked when he learned that I could throw a mean pitch. I ended up teaching him a few things as the sun lowered in the sky. We got tired and really hungry. The sushi was probably rank in my backpack, so I had a better idea. "How about some chicken and fries?" Victor was shouting and jumping up and down in excitement. That was answer enough. All right, you crazy monkey, we're going," I laughed, snatching his hand as campus was busier at this time in the afternoon. I didn't know where any little fast food places were around campus, but I did know of one on the other side of New York. I had never brought someone with me when I traveled, but Dad used to do it with me all the time. How hard could it be? Walking past our dorm building and into the alley, I turned to Victor. "All right, we'll go get fries and nuggets and ice cream," he interrupted. Smiling, I continued. "Yes, and ice cream, but you have to promise not to tell anyone what we are about to do." He frowned a little. "I won't tell. If you come and dance with me at the party. Oh, and sparklers, please." A 9-year-old wanted to dance at a New Year's party, much less go to one? What universe was I in? "I'll throw in some butterscotch root beer to sweeten the deal, and your lips are sealed." We shook on it, then he asked, "What's a butterscotch root beer?" I coughed, staring at him. "Oh, monkey, we are going to have to give you a serious education," I declared, ruffling his blonde hair. Now to get going. I lead Victor further into the alley, closer to the hazy rift, waiting nicely for me as always. A few days ago, I had learned that this was one of those rifts that if you knew where you wanted to go and could picture it, then it could take you there. "All right, hold my hand, buddy, and don't let it go. Understand?" I told him sternly, and he nodded, grasping my hand tightly. I had a firm grip on his as I stared at the wall, thinking very clearly about that McDonald's, what it looked like, where it was, etc. To Victor's credit, he didn't scream or try to pull away when I pulled him with me through the wall to the other side, where a big McDonald's was across the street from us. Oh my god, oh my gosh, my nose is so bad right now. What was that?" he exclaimed, immediately letting go of my hand to rub his arms and legs in an effort to get rid of the tingles. It was kind of funny to watch, like a kid dancing to get ants out of his pants. I shrugged, towing him along with me, as we walked down the sidewalk, heading to the intersection so we could cross safely, or as safely as you could in New York City. My magic. Victor tugged on my arm. "But what was it?" "I'm a traveler." "A what?" So for the next 10 minutes, I answered most of his questions as we made our way to McDonald's. We had to stop talking to order. I got the adult chicken nuggets, and he, of course, had to have a kid's meal for whatever toy was in there this time. "So, what was your dad like?" he asked me, kind of shyly as we sat down to eat with the playground just behind us. chewing on a chicken nugget. I took a minute to think about it. Dad, I don't know. He was just amazing. He taught me everything, he and Pop. And Lean, and Simon, and Rosa, even Roger. Dad taught me how to swim and how to surf. He taught me it's better to laugh than cry, even when everything's going to heck. He taught me how to throw a spiral on a football. He'd sit down and let me do princess makeovers on him. He even convinced Pop to let me dye his hair pink. Granted, it was just one time, but still. We would always have our movie marathons, make forts, and on Saturdays we'd have our traditional waffle breakfasts and go surfing. He taught me how to cook. I wouldn't be who I am or where I am. No. Sorry. I wouldn't be who I am or where I am in my life and career if it wasn't for him. Victor hung on my every word as I smiled softly. He was the best dad anyone could have asked for. Oh, and he was a traveler, like you? I nodded, grinning. All of us are, actually. Pop, Lane, Rosa, Roger, Simon. Everyone I just named except for Pop started off as good friends at the office. Then Dad brought me to the office one day. After that, they were family. Best dang family anyone could ask for. It sounds super cool, Eli. He smiled sadly at me, playing with his fries. I frowned at him, then got his toy out of the wrapper for him. What's wrong, buddy? He shrugged. Mom and Dad never do any of that stuff with me. I don't even know how to make a fort, but it sounds cool. Why don't Mom and Dad do stuff like that with me? Aww. That's sad. Why doesn't he call him Mommy and Daddy? Surely he's not old enough to get out of that, is he? I didn't stop calling Dad Daddy until I was 12. I reached over to ruffle his hair again. Well, I don't know the answer to the first question, but I'm just going to assume it's because they don't know how to have childlike fun. But I leaned in super close, grinning mischievously as he leaned closer too. I can teach you how to make a fort, and we can do a Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings marathons. His gray eyes shined with happiness, and he wiggled in his seat. Really? Totally. It's been far too long since I've made Fort Way of the Tiger anyway. Fort Way of the Tiger. Oh, that just killed me. Sorry. He laughed at the name, then finished his food as I gathered trash. Hey, Eli? Yeah? He took a moment to dunk the last of his fries in ketchup before continuing. What's Harry Potter? I blinked, slightly stunned. I threw our trash away, then hefted him up out of his seat, giving him a big hug. Oh, buddy, we are going to have to remedy the situation. Not knowing Harry Potter is like not knowing vanilla ice cream. I shook my head sadly before putting him down. Alright, you go play and I'll go get our ice cream, okay? He nodded, excitement shining in his eyes again. And no talking to strangers, got it? He exclaimed, running into the playground to play with the other kids. Laughing a bit, I turned and joined the lines to get that ice cream. When I got back, we ate the ice cream, and then went back through the rift, seeing as it was nearly 7 and the party started soon. Surprisingly, I felt so much better after everything. Victor was cute, a big bundle of energy, and yes, his new nickname was Monkey. A tiger and a monkey sharing sparklers at a party. Sounded like a fun disaster waiting to happen. Oh yeah. When we got back, Victor was immediately dragged by Ariana to the bathroom. Something about only having so much time to get ready. I hurried to my room, not wanting to see anyone. I had to go to the party now. Victor had made me a promise. You'll have fun. It's sparklers and butterscotch root beer. Nothing better, right? Surrounded by people that hate me. Yeah, sure. Nevertheless, I went to the restroom to fix my hair, letting it down in its waves, then to the closet. What to wear? I wasn't going to be impressing anyone tonight, right? Sure. So I told myself anyway. I chose some dark-fitting jeans, a lilac flowing blouse, a dark brown leather jacket with cute heeled boots to match. Nice, pretty, and simple to do. I added some clear lip gloss to make my pink lips just a bit shinier, then I was ready to go. Before I left my room, I put my necessities into a decent-sized long-strap purse and snagged 2 of the butterscotch root beers from my mini fridge, sticking them on either side of the purse so that they wouldn't clink. I left my room after checking once more on the overflowing amount of mice in the griffin egg. No cracks. Dang it. Then it was time to put a nice, polite smile on my face and join the fray for a party. I left the dorm by myself, as most everyone was still rushing to get ready, the younger kids being nagged by their parents. I kicked a pebble off of the sidewalk as I walked. I wished Eileen and Pop were here, but they were finally getting Eileen's papers all sorted, so she would be staying home for a while, thank goodness. It felt good to have everyone back. Lean was that annoying best friend who you couldn't help but love, and she was even talking about moving into Pop's condo building, getting a place of her own. I told her she didn't have to, but apparently it was imperative she moved out, since her elderly landlady kept trying to hook Lean up with her good-for-nothing, selfish jackhole of a son. That was followed by a 10-minute rant of their first and only coffee date, which ended in disaster and wedding pamphlets being shoved under her door. Oh no. I smiled at that thought. It was still hilarious. Oh my god, I would die. Since it was wintertime, the party was held in the grand hall again. The weather had gotten colder, but no snow had showed up much to Victor and some of the other kids' dismay. Still, it was cold enough that I hurried inside, breathing a sigh of relief at the warmth that spread goosebumps on my skin. Not many people were here yet, but the DJ was just getting started, and few people were on the dance floor, so it would be soon. Sighing, I grabbed a sparkling cider and filled a small plate with some food to munch on. Now to wait. I ate and drank slowly, sitting alone and watching as people milled in, some drunk, others not, all here for either to have a good time or look miserable. It was clear to see who was forced to come by either significant others, peer pressure, or parents, and who wanted to have a good time. I always found it interesting how easy it was to read people if you looked hard enough and had enough common sense. People really were open books. Soon enough, the cabin walked in, and Victor immediately started looking around, I guess trying to find me. His wild blonde hair had been gelled back, and he was wearing a nice button-up shirt and slacks with loafers. The usual church or formal attire for a 9-year-old kid. Somehow he looked better earlier in his ratty shoes, shorts, and a t-shirt. Or maybe just happier. Victor soon spotted me and ran away from his parents, holding a big box of sparklers in his hands. I smiled as he came to a halt, putting the box on the black and white table cover. Hi, Eli. You look pretty. Thanks, monkey. You don't look too bad either. How's the hair feeling? Like the 90s want their gel back. Immediately, he scrunched up his nose. I don't think it's going to move at all tonight. He tried shaking his head, but nothing fell. It didn't even move an inch. I laughed, looking at the sparkler's box. Good luck with that, bud. Victor ran off to get some snacks, and then we sat down and chatted, eating together. If Caroline and her family noticed, they didn't say anything or come and join us. It was just Victor and I, laughing over some prank ideas and eating whatever our hearts desired. When we got full, we threw our plates away. Victor then grabbed onto the back of my leather jacket, so I used my height and elbows to make our way through the crowd, reaching the relative freedom of the great outdoors, the cold air making us basically the only people outside. Fine with me. Victor started jumping up and down in the hazy moonlight, foggy mist hovering above the grounds around us. Sparklers! Sparklers! I broke out the sparklers, the large box sitting on the ground as I pulled out 2 for each of us to start with. What about fire? He asked innocently, looking up at me. Oh, come on. What is magic for if not to start fires? Both literal and physical. He grinned at that, and I concentrated. It had gotten so much easier this past year to just want to light a flame or for things to happen. Faint crack and pop started as the sparklers lit up, and soon we were running through the grass, smoke from the sparklers following us. Victor had snagged the large ones for us, and boy, were they fun. We did everything with them except sword fights. Victor really wanted to, though. Victor also learned that it's hard to set cold grass on fire. What he didn't know was that I had a hand in blocking said fire. And by the time we had gone through the box, it was almost 11 p.m. Our noses were red, and both of us were shivering in the frigid temperatures, so we ran back inside to the raging party. Victor took my hand and dragged me over to the crowded dance floor. Dance with me, Eli! Dance with me! So I did. We danced slow dances with his feet on mine as I taught him how, doing the chicken dance, even a train. It was really, really fun, and Victor was having a blast, which made it even more worth it. Then the DJ announced it was 30 minutes to midnight, and January 2016. Give me a moment. Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. Then the DJ announced it was 30 minutes to midnight in January 2016. A whole new year. I didn't quite know what to think of that. Sure, this year kind of sucked, but it wasn't all bad. I had a great job and some awesome friends. Pop and Eileen were back. I got a griffin egg. And I had a cool little half-brother monkey. Half-brother is a mouthful. How about just brother? So it wasn't all that bad. If you didn't think about the demons, or the Dimitri incidents, or the fact the coven hates me. Sometimes pessimists just want to watch the world burn, that little annoying voice said in my hot mind. Maybe 2016 would be better. Maybe I'd be able to move on from Dimitri and whatever feelings I have for him, if any. But Victor and I still had one more portion of our deal to make good on. Butterscotch root beer. So I tapped him on the shoulder and snagged his hand in mine, towing him along to the busy tables area. We found a bench against the wall where we could enjoy some solitude and people watch at the same time. His eyes almost glowed with excitement and happiness. It was refreshing to be around such an excited 9-year-old, and to be honest, I was feeling pretty lucky. Pulling out the 2 bottles, slightly warmer now, I handed him one and thought about what I wanted to happen. Really hard. The tops popped off and flew away. We grinned at each other. Cheers into a happy new year of 2016, I said, and he hooted before we both took a swig. There was just something about butterscotch root beer. It tasted almost like butterbeer in Harry Potter, if you've ever had that. It tasted almost a bit bitter, then the sweetness hits your tongue and you're in heaven. Victor sighed, smacking his lips together before taking another big gulp. No, you're not doing it right, I chided slightly, nudging his shoulder. Small sips, and it lasts longer and tastes way better. He tried it and grinned. From then on, he only took small sips. He sighed happily, leaning sideways against me, getting comfy. Thank you for the great day, Eli. You're an awesome big sister. I felt my heart melt, and I hugged him, one arm around his small body. You're a pretty awesome little brother too, Victor. The DJ announced it was 2 minutes to midnight, and suddenly Ariana came running up. Victor, where have you been? Come on, son, we can do those sparklers during our countdown, the family pictures, come on. She gestured quickly, completely ignoring me. He frowned slightly, looking at me, then setting his empty bottle down. He stood up and gave me a big, tight hug. Harry Potter marathon in Fortnite? Oh my god, Fortnite. I am ruined. Those 2 words, I am ruined. Oh, lovely. He whispered in my ear and I grinned, hugging him back. Whenever you want it, monkey. He hugged me tighter and then ran off with his mother. I didn't feel bad for being excluded. I was happy. It felt nice, and I was optimistic for the new year. Then one of Dim's friends, Dimitri's friends, took Victor's empty spot, and I sighed. Hello. Walking muscle, whose name I never learned properly, said nervously. I said nothing, considering getting up and walking away. Dimitri wants to talk to you. Again, no answer. Why would I want to talk to someone who had to send his goons, his friends, to get the girl to come to him? When you said girl a big apology? Yeah, no. I still haven't forgotten how he pushed me away at the hospital ward. Yes, I was still hurt over that. Again, admitting to yourself. Eli, hello. Walking muscle's big hand was waving in front of my face, and I sighed, turning to him. I don't really want to be rude, but it says a lot about someone's character if they have to send their friend to collect the girl they want to talk to. Also, I don't know your name, I said smoothly, pursing my lips. Sassy? Yes. Annoyed? Oh, yes. His lips twitched in a grimace. Yeah. But in his defense, he's been putting together a little something for you up in one of the attics the school has and was doing last-minute preparations. He knows he screwed up. I'm Chet, by the way. Chet. Putting that down in my memory bank, I focused on the decision I had. He was setting something up for me. I tried not to let that get to me, but now I just wanted to know what it was. A proposal? No. Declaration? Maybe I should just go and stop thinking stupid crap. So I stood up, sighing. Fine. Show me the way, minion. Chet laughed good-naturedly and lumbered his way through the crowd, through a set of doorways deeper into the school, and started going up a hidden spiral staircase, tucked neatly into the space of a large broom closet. He also had to pick the lock, which told me no one was really supposed to be huffing and puffing up these darn things. Seriously, how many steps was there to the top? My bet was 1 billion. Chet, to his credit, didn't snort at my red-faced wheezing. Instead, he shrugged and held the door for me. So he's just down there, around that corner. And Eli, he paused, gently touching my jacket-covered arm. I looked at him, noting how he seemed sheepish. Sorry about that fight we had at the trial way back when. Wasn't cool of me to ambush you like that. I remembered that moment. I also remembered how I burned his chest with a flaming torch. And the way I remember it, you ambushed me, I hit you with a flaming torch. It's all good, I shrugged, and he laughed, his voice deep and rumbling to match his size. I knew there was a reason I liked you, he said sincerely. Then with a wave, he began the long journey back down the 1,000,000,000 stairs, leaving me to get butterflies in my stomach as I started to slowly walk around the corner. What I found was a big, beautifully lit room. The moon was hidden partly behind the clouds, the gorgeous rays of moonlight shining through the full wall windows at the far end of the room. I could see dim silhouette as he reached around, double-checking everything, which seemed to be... Aww. I couldn't help but swoon a little. He had blankets, pillows, some lit candles, and a picnic basket. The party was vibrating under my feet, and I heard the DJ shout out 5 minutes faintly. 5 minutes until midnight. Until January 2016. And Dim had a cute little picnic area just for he and I. How could I get mad? At least until I thought about everything, and the cuteness went away. I walked forward, watching him warily. He straightened up and looked at me sheepishly. He seemed different. I hadn't dared look at him before, but now he seemed paler, taller, just different, yet I didn't quite know how. He spoke up first, his eyes hungrily gazing at me. Hey. Taking a deep breath of courage, I replied back, swallowing. Hey. It was awkward again. Always with the awkwardness. He gestured towards the pillows and blankets. Want to sit down? I bit my lip, closing my eyes briefly. Did I really want to say all what I was feeling? Would it ruin it all? But I had to, and I knew that. I wasn't a coward. Yet. Why? He faltered, his smile diminishing. Why to the sitting down, or... But he knew what I meant. It was easy to tell as he bit his lip. Why do all of this? Not a single phone call or answer to my texts. You had Blake and Clover watch out for me, but they didn't tell me anything. You pushed me away at the hospital ward, leave for weeks, yet you show you care in other ways. Why? We aren't anything. We've never had a chance. I took a breath when I was finished, feeling something hard in my chest, clogging my throat. It was the truth. We never had a chance. Either he left or something else interfered. Something always interfered, then either I handled it wrong or he did, pushing us 2 steps back when we had only taken 1 step forward. He looked sad and frustrated, turning around and running a hand through his hair. It looked longer and scruffier. Then he turned around and I noticed he had subtle stubble gracing his chin and his eyes looked haunted with half circles running underneath. He hadn't been sleeping well, it seemed. I did my best not to question it. I'm sorry. Stuff's going on right now, and I don't want you to be a part of it. Not that I don't want you to know, it's just... I finished for him. I don't want you to know. He groaned, rubbing his eyes. Clearly this wasn't what he had in mind, but what did he expect? Maybe I gave him more credit for being smart than he deserved. That's not what I meant. But isn't it? You act like you care, then when crap hits the fan, you push me away. How can I even be with you if you won't let me in? I get it, okay? I get you can't or won't tell me everything, but at least try with some of this stuff. Your mom? I knew what was going on the moment I saw her. But you didn't have to tell me anything. I could have just sat with you instead of Madeline. He looked stricken and tried to interrupt, but I was on a roll as a traitorous tear fell down my cheek. I could have hugged you instead of her. What, did you think I would think less of you if you cried when your mom was on her deathbed in the hospital? Dimitri, I would never think less of you for something like that. You aren't weak if you cry. It shows you feel. It shows you care. I would have happily cried with you. Because I care, okay? My voice cracked and tears were slowly sliding down my face as my throat threatened to close up on me. I care. But how can I show you I care if you don't let me in? He didn't say anything, just sat there helplessly, the truth shining in his stormy eyes. We both heard the DJ scream 2 minutes into the mic, but neither of us moved towards each other. Then finally he spoke, but it wasn't really what I wanted to hear. I'm leaving again, Leah. I don't know when I'll be back, he said quietly, staring hard at the ground, his hands slowly clenching and unclenching. Frustration built up in me again, but I didn't say anything. Was this hard for him to say because he was scared over it, or because he didn't want me to know again? How could I know unless he let me in? But when I come back, Leah, this time he looked at me with a fire that honestly kind of scared me burning in his eyes. I'll tell you everything, I promise. And then, well, he laughed slightly. I don't care how long it takes, but I am going to get back into your good graces, because you've pretty much been the only girl for me since you took a snake bite for me. Oh. Wow. Oh. That wasn't what I was expecting to hear. At all. Then the countdown began below us, and he stepped closer to me, which had me all kinds of jittery. His lips got closer to mine. He leaned in close, my heart stuttering wildly in my ears. Okay. Is this really happening? 8, 7, 6. His lips got closer to mine. 5, 4, 3. I closed my eyes slightly, head tilted up. 2, 1. Then he kissed my cheek and murmured into my ear, capturing me into a tight hug that had all kinds of possessive written on it. Happy New Year, Leah. Then he was gone. Just like that, he left, walking briskly out the door, leaving me feeling like those girls in the chick flicks that I swore I would never be like. Shattered, confused, hoping for something I may never have, and I hated it. I hated him for leaving again. And yet, I was looking forward to when he came back. Darn him. I didn't feel like partying anymore. It was midnight. I had been through the emotional ringer, and it was all because of one darn walker. Being pissed is better than mopey. Pissed it was then. But I did look into the basket, just to satisfy my curiosity. Then took it with me when I found pizza, soda, and chocolate-covered strawberries. No one said I couldn't take them with me, but someone else was going to clean up this romantic scene, and it wasn't me. Nope. I was mad. I didn't want to walk down the billion stairs. I would rather slide down them. No sooner had I thought it, did ice coat all of the stairs, the air making steam rise off of the surface. I sat down and scooted my butt until I was soon whizzing down. The ice was a lot like my anger right now. Cold and fierce. Better than watching The Notebook. If Lean got wind of what happened, that's what we will be watching. I shuddered. She loved that movie just as much as she loved bloody horror flicks. The party was winding down, so it was rather easy for me to get away. out into the cold night air, unhindered by drunken folks and worrisome parents. I was glad Lane and Pop hadn't come tonight. I was glad no one was around to see the angry tears falling from my face, like I was some weakling. Ugh. Darn you, Dimitri Walker. He was going to be lucky if I didn't kill him when he got back. Oh, please, you won't kill him? If you do, you won't finally get that kiss. Stupid little voice. Shut up. When I got to the dorm, the parents and some kids were still milling about, chatting excitedly. No one looked at me or my stormy expression as I stalked my room, still on my anger high. He's gone. Again. Again. Ugh. Did he learn nothing from my tearful rant? Nothing? I shut my door, leaning back on it with a huff. Who wants to bet $5 he won't even give me a call or even a text? Anyone? I said dryly. No one answered me, of course. Sighing heavily, I walked over to my desk, setting the basket down, then changed into my usual comfy attire. Dad's big t-shirt and some old boxers. They didn't smell like him anymore, but it still comforted me to know that it was his. It was nights like this that I just really wished I had my dad back. He always knew what to do. My first and only childhood bully had never pushed me off my bike again after Dad put dog poop on his bike handles. After that, everyone called him Smelly Willie. That memory brought a smile to my face, and I felt better. Even when he wasn't around, Dad could always make me feel better. Suddenly, a cool breeze whooshed into my room. Then it was gone, just like that. It was cold, a lot colder than it was outside, and goosebumps chilled my arms. Slowly, I turned around, expecting to see someone there, but no one was. Odd. All I saw was my window curtains flapping in the natural cool breeze, but what I had just felt hadn't been natural. It was dangerous. A predator. In my room? Why? Interrupted again. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. I've just decided this is going to be longer than an hour, probably. Sorry, but at this point I've had so many interruptions that I don't know how many minutes it's been. Yeah, okay. In my room, why? I forced myself to approach the window, peering slightly out, looking around, wary for anything. Nothing. Nothing came and jumped me, landed on my head, or pulled me out of the window. Scowling, I closed the window and locked it for good measure before closing the curtains. No peeping Toms allowed tonight. I turned around, breathing slightly easier now that I knew no one was in my room. I double-checked to be sure, turning on the lights, looking around, and yes, even under my bed. If demons are real, then why couldn't boogie monsters be? It was only when I straightened up on my knees with a hand on the bed that I saw it. A single, deep, red rose with a small droplet of blood running down its thorny stem and a pure white note folded nicely, just laying on my made bed. I stood up and slowly took the rose, avoiding the blood. The petals shook with my hands as I noticed what was entangled on the stem. My father's shark-tooth necklace. The one Dracula had so cruelly taunted me with, the one I'd wanted so desperately back. Instead, I had chosen to save a life. And now it was here, in my room, on a blood red rose stem entangled on bloody thorns. I took a sniff, and it even smelled like him. Dracula. It had to be. Cool mint and the coppery stench of blood. Trembling, I looked around once more, making sure nothing was in my room before reaching for the note. I sat down, untangled my father's necklace, and put it on. I laid the rose down carefully and finally unfolded the white paper. I'm sorry. Whew, okay. 3 more pages left, guys. How are we feeling? Epilogue. The dream. Man, I screwed up. I'm such an idiot. Those words hit me like a truck over and over again. Leah's tear-streaked face had a permanent residence in my head. My fingers gripped my hair, threatening to rip out my raven locks as the words repeated over and over. Such a screw-up. What an idiot. I never wanted to hurt her. Yet being me, I screwed up and did it anyway, just like when we were kids. It was her world, her magic. I had no right to try and steal that necklace. How was I supposed to know it would turn into a freaking snake? It was the first time I had ever truly panicked as a kid, when she took the bite for me instead of me taking the fangs. Slowly, with shaking fingers, I looked at the beat-up note from so long ago, rereading the words I knew by heart. Sorry I can't be there when you wake up. You and I come from different magics, different families, different ways of life. You're a walker. I'm a traveler. We are bound by different forces. I just wanted to say thanks for everything and helping me out. Have a good life, I guess? Wish we could have spent some more time together, but yeah. Some things just aren't meant to be. Leah. I had never thrown it away. This note was my one treasure as a kid. I had hidden it carefully inside of a hidden compartment in my mom's old jewelry box from her days in the ocean. The dark times, she calls them. I didn't know much about them as a kid, but now I knew too much. Enough to know to be scared of the deep blue sea. I sighed again, folding the heavily creased note and putting it inside of my shirt pocket, right over my heart. It weighed almost nothing, yet it had had a chain wrapped around my heart ever since that fateful day. Never had I cared more deeply for a simple piece of paper than I had that note. When it ripped, I went traipsing all over the house, looking for good sturdy tape. When the housekeeper accidentally threw it away in the trash, I looked through the dumpster and sprayed my mom's favorite lavender perfume on it so it wouldn't stink up my room. My pillow. Man, if the guys ever knew I had slept with it under my pillow. My smile faded as I stared up into the darkness of my bare room. The guys. My friends. The ones who have had my back throughout the years. We were such a merry band of misfits. I may never see them again. I made them promise me, almost in blood, that they wouldn't look for me. That they wouldn't come here to see me, maybe. I had told them to stay behind, watch over Leah. The girl who held my heart. The girl who I may never see again. Tonight was my last night. My birthday was next week. My 18th birthday. The entire reason I was doing this. If this failed, well, I would be dead. It was why I had been such a douche and pushed her away. In case I might die and never see her again. My Adam's apple bobbed as I swallowed audibly. I didn't want that to happen. God, it had been so hard not to just lay my lips on hers and finally know what that feels like. But I didn't want her hurt if I never came back. Seeing Mom the way she had been in the hospital, it hit hard for me. I had to do this, even if the risk was great. I didn't have a choice. I never had a choice in any of it. Sleep found me in an uneasy state. Then I found myself in a dream, as I always do. Leah said she went to memories, and I went to dreams. Different magics. This dream, there was something horribly wrong about it. The air was hot and humid, and it had a red haze to it. I was in a round corridor, and some foul, foreign shouts were echoing all around me. Tortured, painful screams resounded everywhere, and heavy machinery whirled. Something about this place made my skin crawl. Not an easy feat. I had seen too much, but this was something else. I walked around aimlessly, seeing no one but hearing everything. The corridor was becoming brighter and redder, the heat becoming almost unbearable. Then I turned a corner and almost walked right off the edge. Immediately I hugged the wall, my heart giving me palpitations. I was looking down into a red, hazy nothing. Swallowing hard, I looked up and saw demons of every kind stomping around, doing God knows what. But God doesn't know, does he? This isn't his realm. This is hell. Fear chilled my bones, and I forced myself to move sideways, focusing on the task at hand. I usually just wandered around, messing up people's dreams. It was a world of no consequences for me, but this one, I needed to see who it was. Who was dreaming inside of hell? I got to the other side and found a normal walkway, my dream magic swirling all over my skin. I needed it to show me where to go. Where it pointed, I followed, navigating crazy complicated corridors and mazes to get to my final destination. What I passed is better to not think about. Instead, I walked faster to get away. Then I found him, the dreamer, locked away in a heavily barred cell, chained to the wall, blood puddles all over the uneven, dirty floor. Even the dirt was red. When I saw him, I wanted to throw up. How is he still alive? I saw more bone than skin, blood seeping from all of his numerous wounds, ribs barely moving as he struggled to breathe, rags for clothes, what might have passed as jeans, and a nice button-up at one point. His skeletal feet were bare. He was skinny, too skinny. His head was bent, and you could see the knots in his spine through his long, oily hair. He smelled awful. Then he lifted his head, shaking heavily with the effort it took, and I nearly buckled when I saw his eyes. His face, clear, sky blue eyes, stared back at me, just like Leah's right eye. This man, he looked like her. No, she looked like him, because this was Leah's dad. You. Boy. His voice was raspy, unused, like he had swallowed glass over and over. I swallowed hard, stepping forward to place my hands on the rusted bars. You're Leah's dad, aren't you? I breathed, barely able to take my eyes off of him. I didn't even know his name or anything about him, but he looked so much like her. It had to be. What? Breathing hard, he slumped against the wall, yet his eyes stared right into mine. His human body may be failing him, but he wasn't done yet. Not by a long shot. Eli's your daughter, right? Light shone in his eyes, and it was like saying her name gave him strength. With immense difficulty, he sat up, his voice getting stronger. You know her, my Eli? You can get a message to her? No. Protect her? He said urgently, looking around as if waiting for his tormentors to come back at any second. I nodded eagerly. Yeah, I can. What do you want me to say? His voice was sharp, commanding. Nothing. You don't breathe a word of this to her. Let her think of a dead. It will protect her from them. If they know where she is, that she's alive and she's my daughter, of my bloodline, they will do anything to get her. And they won't stop torturing her and I until one of us breaks and gives them what they want. The fear in his eyes for her made it hard for me to breathe. He wasn't kidding, and I knew it. I saw it. Fear. A fear for Leah spread through me like I never knew before. I found it difficult to find my voice. What do they want with her? With you? What is it that she has that they think she can give? Her magic, he said coldly, angrily. The traveler magic. Blake had mentioned it before. But what about you? Why would they need her if they have you? He sighed heavily. I can't give them what they want if I don't know where it is, he whispered the last part. Then I knew. They think Leah knows where it is. Whatever it is. I lowered my voice urgently, sensing he was about to wake up to the horrible reality he lived. But she doesn't know what it is. Does she, sir? He smiled grimly. No. No, she doesn't, son. None of us do. Go. They are coming. The world shook under my feet, and suddenly I woke to someone shaking my shoulder violently. My keeper, a lower minion of my lord. Wildly I stared into his light green eyes, fear still gripping my heart. Walker! Good, you are awake. He is ready for you now. It was time. Time to see if I lived or if I died. But now it was imperative that I survive. If I didn't, Leah's life depended on it. She needed me, now more than ever. So I got up, and feeling spreading everywhere. Was this how the prisoners felt, walking to death row? Knowing they were about to die, that it wasn't up to them. It was an awful feeling. Fear still had an iron grip on my heart, and I could barely breathe. But I walked out of that bare little room and down the darkly lit hallway to the dark set of double iron doors at the very end. I was glad I had sent Mom and Dad away. They didn't need to be here for this. Whatever happens, happens. They would be okay. It was the only sense of relief I felt as I pushed open those double doors into the complete darkness. My eyes struggled to find the silhouette of the man that would either become my murderer or my master. Are you ready? His voice, so eloquently smooth like silk, murmured. I swallowed once more and found my voice again. I thought of Leah, of my parents, and of my friends. I would survive this for them. I am ready. Da, 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 da. We are done. And I think that was actually just about an hour. Okay. Okay. Oh boy. I cannot believe I just finished reading all of that. It's weird. About midway through that epilogue, I started feeling my lips and like being very aware of what my mouth feels like. I don't understand. Okay. So, thoughts on the New Year's chapter, the last chapter. Fairly long. But I like Victor. I want to amp up Victor and Eli's relationship a little bit more in the rewrite, because I really like their dynamic. I think she needs it. He certainly needs it. And all in all, I think it was just cute. I really liked the anguish and the drama in the first part. The whole thing, like, with Chet, she'll know his name well before this point. I just always thought it was funny that she didn't. In the rewrite. And I really liked that final scene between Eli and Dimitri. The whole cute little picnic thing, but she didn't go with it, you know? I mean, and she said her piece, and then he just left. And, like, that anger, oh, man, you know? I really, really, really liked that whole thing, and then her getting back. And then that last bit, Dracula just, one little final gift. Why? Why would he leave that gift? Why would he suddenly come back when she tried to find him? You know, like, I liked that, and just the way that I finished that, the I'm sorry of the note. Like, I really, really liked that. And then the epilogue, I think I really enjoyed going through that again with the descriptions of like hell and everything else, and boom, the realization that her father is actually alive, trapped in hell. She has no idea, and now the only person who knows is Dimitri. But Dimitri's currently stuck entering something that he may or may not survive, and now he's got a huge reason to survive. He has to survive so that he can help protect Leah from whoever the hell took her dad. He's the only one who knows, and now it all hinges on him. So, you know, I really liked that, and I also really liked the little thing with the note, how he held it. I actually kind of forgot about that. But yeah, and then I am ready, just, oh boy. But yeah, okay. That was the final chapter and epilogue of Lost in Time. I think I still want to keep the epilogue. Like, I think that may be the only thing I don't change too much with the rewrite. I still want it to be kind of the rewrite. I still want it to be kind of similar to the story, but like change things more in the beginning and the middle. Towards the end, maybe not so much. But like I do want it to end at the New Year's party and stuff like that. It's like the beginning. It's the end of a very life-changing year, and then I want it to be the beginning of another year, you know. So I really liked that. I have a lot of work to do. I have a ton of work to do. I was kind of sitting there and I was reading and I was thinking about it. Kind of considering doing a few more interactions between Dimitri and Eli. But honestly, I don't know. Should I? Shouldn't I? Probably. I probably should, but I'm not, like, unhappy with the different things they had going through with them. I mean, they had the date, they had the birthday, he gave her some chips, then they had, like, the flashback, and it's been, like, hot, cold, hot, cold, hot, cold this entire time, and that is kind of what their relationship dynamic is, because this thing with Dimitri, which, honestly, when I wrote this, I wasn't 100% sure what it was. So, now I know what it is. And what I was setting it up to be with what we just read before is now different, but at the same time, it still works. But it is big, it's huge, and it is in the way between between Eli and Dimitri. He can't tell her. He can't. I'll tell you everything when I get back. Yeah, good luck with that, buddy. He's optimistic. He's hoping he can find a way. But how can you tell her what it is when it's literally been a contract with your family this entire time? It is that contract that she saw, by the way. The quote-unquote Dracula contract. Yeah. So she saw a glimpse, and for him, that's just pretty much been his life. Like, he's a walker. He has to uphold it, and there's no room for her in that. Not that he wants her to be part of it because he wants to protect her, but also she's just too headstrong for her own good, and she might do something, and like he wants to protect her, and now he needs to survive so that he can protect her from another threat. Now, keep in mind that the thing that his big secret is not going to hurt her. It's not. It has nothing to do with her. He just still wants to protect her from it, because if she gets involved, then it possibly could. But it has nothing to do with anything else going on. It's something that she has no idea going on behind the scenes, and it's a lot more pertinent for book 2. And in the rewrite, I'm actually going to have some smaller chapters, like smaller interludes, I think, a few times, with kind of more pertaining to some people that are connected to that, for the reader to know. Not so much Eli, but they do also talk about her, because despite the fact that Dimitri, like, he doesn't want her to be part of it, but the people around him know that she could be a threat, because they need Dimitri to do this. Dimitri doesn't have a choice. And it really is only thanks to him pushing her away as much as he has that it has protected her thus far. But some other things are going on. Because Laveau's. Of course Laveau's gotta mess everything up, man. Of course. But yeah, that being said, this is gonna be it for Lost in Time. rereading my very first draft. I might do, when I do eventually get my notes all done on Obsidian, I might show those off, because the way that you can do notes is pretty neat. It's like a dot map, like a mind map, brainstorming map. So I eventually want to do one for like all the characters, all the pertinent things, and all of that, and just show how absolutely insane and crazy it is, just a little bit, without showing you guys like too much. But I want to get all that situated before I get to writing it, because I'm gonna need that. That being said, I don't know where Crochet Vlog's gonna go from here. Any ideas? That would be awesome. I don't want to stop crocheting on this channel, so I don't know what to do. I don't know how else to incorporate it. I do have a whole nother book I could read. One I was kind of considering doing, A Witch is Dead. I am going to be reading one of my favorite chapters from that. Kind of put out a feeler on Twitter, and I was like, would anyone be opposed? And it doesn't sound like anybody would be, but I kind of just want to read that as a crochet vlog format, even though it's chapter 17 out of like basically 26. Yeah. Or 24, something like that. But I kind of just want to read it, do an in-depth analysis, kind of talk about the two characters there and their very complicated dilemma. And who knows, maybe I'll read more, maybe I'll read less. I don't know. I could also read the some of the other stuff I've been writing recently. I don't know, I guess it's just kind of up to you guys. So feedback time, I guess, for y'all. This has gone well over an hour, but I did do the reading in an hour, so hey, there's that, even with all the interruptions. Crocheting for this is going to be a bitch and a half, though. However, I'm going to get so many squares done, so never mind, I'm actually excited. But yeah. The end. Holy heck. We have read 208 pages, and how many words, dare I ask? 137,469 words. Display word count while typing. Oh god, that would stress me out. Characters excluding spaces. 597,572. I have... my jaw needs a break. Okay. But yeah, that was Lost in Time, guys. That was the rough draft of Eli's Tale. I guess let me know what you think. I don't know. Let me know if you guys would be interested in me doing something like this again, but for A Witch's Debt, for the other things I've written, or what have you. But I do want to say thank you so much for being here, making it to the very end if you have, and being supporting and amazing. I needed this. I've been writing a lot more recently. I think I've written like 40 pages of just various stuff in June, and as of this recording, as of me doing the spoken recording, actually it is July 1st. So yeah, and that is a huge part of that is thanks to this series and thanks to you guys. So thank you so much. You all know who you are, and I appreciate and love you more than you all will know, because y'all make me feel seen, appreciated, and valued in a way that I don't really feel very often. So thank you. And now I don't know how to say goodbye. Part of me is sad that this is ending, but the other part of me is excited because now I've got all the story and I can start working on notes. I can start doing all of that again. I kind of took a break from all of that while I've been working on A Witch's Debt. so I can kind of start picking that up again. On the A Witch's Debt one, if you guys want more of these, like the sort of format where we're reading an entire another book, which would be A Witch's Debt, so that's the only other book I have completely written, that I'm also in the process of rewriting. Although I'm almost done with the prequel, so we could read that too. I don't know how it's going to go with Tennessee, but just depending, I might be able to just do some of those videos, maybe like once a week or something. I'm supposed to have internet. I don't know how well that's going to go, but I may also just be able to use school internet as well. So I'm quietly hopeful because I still would like to make content. So there is that. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for me for now. Let me know what you guys would like. If you want to tell me, hey, Git, awesome for finishing the series, but don't do it again, you could tell me. I'm okay with that. Give me your honest criticism, honest feedback. If you want to tell me about the story, if you want to read it for yourself without me nagging, if you want to have a whole another one, let me know. I really did this for me, but now I think the future of it, I'll let you guys decide. But also keep an eye out on the community tab. I'll let people know if I'm going to start another series like this, or just series in general. But yeah, this is goodbye to Eli for now. Thanks so much for listening. So many parts down, like what, 35 maybe? I don't actually know. It's been a lot. I think 34 maybe, without looking. I don't know. But anyway, under 40, we know that, but between 30 and 40 parts of this. Despite all the flaws, despite the massive need for rewrites, I really did enjoy going back through and reading it again. More as a reader than as an author, but it helped me reconnect, and I'm very happy for that. So, have a great week, y'all, and I will see you when I see you. Thanks for watching. Bye.